Hello and welcome to the famous Matches of Magic channel. Today we present the finals of Pro Tour Berlin that took place in 2008. This matchup is between Scott-Vargas and Matej Zatlkaj. They are both playing an elf combo deck in the finals of the Pro Tour. This deck is known by many people as Elf Ball. As with most mirror matches, their decks are similar yet very different. LSV managed to squeak his way into top 8 in 8th place. Matej Zatlkaj has his work cut out for him though. Even though he is the heavy favorite, as his deck has lots of cards good in the mirror, such as Hive Master and Soul Warden. Extended at the time was thought to be a wide open field, but it turned out that this was not the fact, as Elf Ball was everywhere.
Hello and welcome to Pro Tour Berlin. Randy Buehler here with Brian David Marshall. 453 players have come to Berlin to check out this freshly rotated extended environment. Wide open, fresh. What are people playing?
Well, Sensei's Divining Top seems to have opened, the banning of Sensei's Divining Top seems to have opened the door for one of the most exciting, kind of worst kept secret decks at this Pro Tour, which is essentially an Elf Ball deck, kind of similar to what you saw from Alan Comer at Pro Tour Hollywood. Deck has tons of 1-drops, uses Glimpse of Nature. If you brought Glimpse of Nature to this Pro Tour and you weren't playing it, there was like a scratch-off lottery ticket last night. People were dying for Glimpse of Natures, dying for Wirewood Symbiotes,
50
different
bucks,
cards.
75 bucks.
Who knows? Well, I don't think they hit a price higher than $6, but that's only because they sold out and nobody had them. Everyone said to me, you know, when we were talking, they were like, oh yeah, we're playing this elf deck. Don't tell anyone, it's a secret.
Right.
And I mean, I heard that so many times, I thought it was a joke people were playing at some point.
Even though Elves was the most popular deck at the tournament, and 6 of them would make top 8, there was one deck that managed to go 8-0 day 1, 11-1 total in the tournament, and be first place going into top 8. And that was the Tesserator, piloted by Kenny Oidberg.
Welcome to the Tournament Center. I'm Randy Buehler, and it is time for a deck tech with Kenny Oidberg. I don't know about a lot of you guys at home, but when I thought about this Pro Tour, I was not expecting the Tesserator to run the table on day 1. As we film this, Kenny is 11-1 with a blue control deck really based around Tezzeret the Seeker, the Planeswalker from Shards of Alara. All right, Kenny, walk us through this thing, because I am sure people have not really seen a deck like this before. It's doing great. How does it work?
It basically works as a lockdown deck. You make the opponent unable to play any of their spells or attack with the creatures. Basically, it's a trinket-based deck, which has the usual toolbox for trinkets: Spell Bomb, Pity Needle,
Engineered Explosives.
And Engineered Explosives.
Absolutely.
But also, the really important card, Chalice of the Void. Chalice basically stops all the efficient mana decks that plays a lot of 1-drops or 2-drops. This deck has no 2-drops, so you always want to play one out on 2 counters. And basically you shut down a lot of strategies in this format. Then, well, by looking at what Tesseract can do, it's basically a Trinket Mage, but can find way much better things, like Ensnaring Bridge. This card makes it that the opponent can't attack you, basically, and
there's a lot of decks which just have no answer, right? You play that out against fairies, what do they do?
Yeah, they don't
have any cards.
The only thing they can do is play a Cryptic Command to bounce it, otherwise they are out, and you can in some way stop it.
Yeah.
Other decks like Zoo or Elves or something can't really handle Trinisphere very well.
Sure.
Also basically 2 cards you want to find with Tesseract.
Okay.
But to support these 2, you also have Shackles. You basically play 5 Shackles in this deck, and the creature strategies are even more punished for their creatures.
Nice. So how do you actually win the game?
You either win by beating them down with Trinket Mage or Vendilion Click.
Okay.
But a more fun way is to use Tesser's ultimate ability.
The ultimate
you turn all your artifacts into 5/5s. And you have plenty of artifacts. You have Chromoxes flying around, Great Furnace, or some of the toolbox. So you basically do 20 damage in a very fast way.
Unfortunately, LSV drew the wrong number and would have to meet the Tesserator in the first round of top 8. The Tesserator had an amazing elf matchup, meeting it 6 times in the Swiss, losing only once. The matchup would go to 5 games and would come to an epic finish.
Llanowar Elf from Luis. This draw brought to you by the year 1995.
Won ya.
Yeah, I might go. I think Great Furnace. I like that play. Goes and gets Great Furnace. Now he can Explosives for 2. Picks up the Jitte. Trinket Mage does indeed block.
That's what I presumed.
1 counter on the Jitte sitting there, and Luis plays another Elf. 2. Well, there's Pyrite Spellbomb. And he nails the Elf. Interesting. Would you nail the Elf there? I might wait to make him spend mana to put the Jitte on it. He denied him the ability to tap the Elf for mana. Oh, there is... Wow.
Here comes Shackles.
Yeah, but the Jitte... He chose to Pyrite Spellbomb the Elf instead of he could have done the Explosives for 2 to deal with the Jitte.
17.
Now, how does he... Now it's 3 counters on the Jitte. I guess he just needs to draw red mana into Explosives for 2. I don't know about picking off the Elf there. 4 islands, so this will cost him 2 Jitte counters. Seems like the right play to force him to use them. Yes. Viridian Shaman, down goes Shackles.
I think it's just amazing how Luis has just transformed this matchup into something other than what
I'm impressed.
anyone thought it was going to be.
I am very impressed by Luis Scott-Vargas right now.
So it sounds like the break Mortusa had to get up was not a bathroom break,
Yeah.
but a travel agent break.
He has to rebook his flight home. Yep. Spellbomb bounces the Shaman that was holding the Jitte. Explosives for 2. Pass the turn. Luis Scott-Vargas attacks for 3. Shaman and Birchlore Ranger get in there.
Therefore, oh, a Michaelith.
Oh, Michaeloth. Wow. What does Kenny Oberg do now?
Hello, Jamie Wakefield.
Really, he needs... I have no idea how he gets out of this.
And he devours 1.
Yeah, devours 1, so it's a 6/6. In theory, he could go land Shackles to steal it. So Explosives blows up the Jitte. Yeah, he has to go land Shackles and steal the 6.
Meanwhile, Matej Zatlkaj is taking down fairies on the other side of the bracket.
I think 1 more attack step.
There's the handshake. Fist pump from Zatlkaj with the fist pump. Wow. Matej Zatlkaj in his elf deck through to the semifinals where he'll be playing a mirror match against one of the guys he play tested with, either Martin Yuza or Sebastian Thaler. And this Pro Tour is going to be won by elves.
Now, who better to explain the differences in LSV's version of elves and Matekai's version of elves than LSV himself?
Hi, this is Brian David Marshall bringing you Deck Tech from Pro Tour Berlin with former U.S. national champion Luis Scott-Vargas.
Hey, Brian.
How you doing?
Good.
So we're here to talk about the Elf Ball deck. We've talked a lot today about elf decks that are running a Predator Dragon combo kill.
Right.
But you and your team have taken a slightly divergent path in building your version of the Glimpse of Nature Elf Wirewood Symbiote deck. Tell us how your deck is different and why you chose to build this deck this way.
The main difference actually is we use Weird Harvest instead of Court of Calling, and then we're not playing any Essence Wardens or Hive Masters, and instead we have the full number of Summoners packs and 4 Elves of Deep Shadow. And basically, this deck is actually a little faster than the other Elf decks. It's not quite as resilient to hate cards, but we didn't realize how widely spread Elves were going to be. Although this version, I think, is better in the mirror, although I did lose 2 mirrors, so maybe not. But in theory, it's better because it is a little bit faster.
Well, it seems to me like Essence Warden and Hive Master is probably a little bit of a problem for you, right?
Actually, no. We can kill through an Essence Warden and a Hive Master together because our kill is a Grape Shot. So if they've got an Essence Warden and a Hive Master, every elf we play when we're going off, they gain a life. Well, actually 2 lives because one from the insect, one from the elf. So we start going off. At some point during the combo, we Grape Shot the Essence Warden. Then we play all the rest of our spells, including all of our packs, all of our Glimpses, although those last because we don't want to deck, all of our Weird Harvests, Witness back the Grape Shot, and by that time the Grape Shot will have negated the previous life gain and actually still killed them. Enchantments.
I also noticed you have a suite of 6 black lands, and you have the Elves of Deep Shadow. I assume that's
it's just for the thought. It's just for the thought seizes. Guildleaf Palaces are actually just free in the deck. There's no besides Blood Moon, there's actually no disadvantage to playing them. And Elves of Deep Shadow are a more useful 1-drop elf than Essence Warden, I think. You can cast Elvish Visionary with them, and after sideboard your GTA or Mycoloth. So.
And when do you bring the Thought Seizes in for?
They're primarily for the mirror and combo, like Swans or Teps. So basically any deck that could be faster than you bring in Thought Seizes.
Okay, well great. Thanks a lot for your time.
Now that we understand LSV's deck, let's take a look at what Matej's version looks like. Zatlkaj is playing a Chord of Calling Silver Bullet style elf combo deck that he can search up instant speed, things that are good in the mirror such as Orzhov Pontiff. He does have the Hive Masters and the Essence Warden, which he feels are good in the mirror, although LSV feels are not. Predator Dragon can just devour a bunch of elves at one time and kill his opponent out of nowhere. Rather than the Black Splash, though, he gets to play with Horizon Canopies, which can help him from getting flooded. This deck was designed to beat the mirror match, so can LSV overcome one more opponent, or will he become one match short and not quite get there? Let's head down to the match and find out.
Bunch of insects, Chord of Calling lets him bring those silver bullets into play. Will it be his version that wins the Pro Tour?
And there we see an Essence Warden right out of the gate for him.
We are about to find out. Scott-Vargas leads with Heritage Druid to Essence Warden from Zatlkaj. Essence Warden is a card, Scott-Vargas doesn't even run, right?
He doesn't. He said in his profile, we decided Hive Master and Essence Warden were too slow, and went all in with 4 Summoners Pact and 3 Weird Harvest.
Yes, Weird Harvest is another card now. So far it has been. He won the mirror match in the semis. 2 turns into this game, we see Heritage Druid from Zatlkaj. Adds that on top of Essence Warden. Llanowar Elf comes down as well.
3 mana. Should be a Visionary. 1 mana.
Elvish Visionary draws a card. Putting a nice board position together, but no card advantage engine yet. Yes. That should be enough to go off to the races. The question is, can LSV win now? LSV's got...
He's obviously trying.
Yeah, I think he can sense he needs to go for it. Goes and gets a second Nettle Sentinel. Those combined with the Heritage Druid that's in play, mean pretty much he's got the mana he needs to cast every spell in his deck.
Does he have the Glimpse, though?
Yes, he needs to go Glimpse and then start drawing.
And you keep track of spells. Could you do that? Yeah, no problem.
I don't think he would have Summoner Packed it there if he did not have the Glimpse. Is he building up the Summoner's Pact for Regal Force? That's about the only thing that makes sense, right?
Yes, he is.
9 mana. Yep. Let's go to 8 mana.
3 more mana. Yes, Summoner's Pact. Sentinels.
It's another spell.
Yep.
Yeah. Go 7? Yeah, that's another 7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There it is! Glimpse of nature.
14 -4 for my life.
Now the glimpse is in effect.
Remember, he's still fighting through an Essence Warden here.
Oh, sure. I don't think one Essence Warden is good enough to stop him. Eternal Witness. Oh, but he's got Summoner's Pact for Eternal Witness, so that should do it, right? What life total did Zatlkaj get up to?
Doesn't really matter since almost everything was.
Eternal Witness Grape Shot. That will do it.
Turn 3 combo kill for LSV. Just shows the power of the elf deck.
Luis shows a Llanowar Elf so he can get his Guilt-Leaf Palace into play on tap, but then he uses it for Thoughtseize. Visionary, Heritage Druid, Essence Warden, and a Forest. Zatlkaj was forced to mulligan. His 6-card hand is perfectly serviceable, but it's 4 dudes, right? No card drawing, no the different combo engine. I think the Essence Warden might not have mattered, but the way his deck is... So on the one hand, he's happy to see a mediocre draw. Well, okay, there comes Symbiote off the top. Suddenly, Visionary is a little more exciting than it was before. Visionary.
Take 2 cards from you.
He untapped the Elf in order to get that Heritage Druid into play, but as a result, Visionary was in his hand where it was vulnerable to Thoughtseize, rather than being on the table where it's basically no way for Luis to bust up the card drawing. Right.
No real reason to bounce that Elvish Visionary to his hand where it can get Thoughtseized. That is the card drawing engine with a Symbiote in play. That was a costly mistake.
His opponent's hand.
This one's not something stupid.
Summoning 6 Llanowar Elf still makes a mana thanks to Birchflower Ranger. Now here's Elves of Deep Shadow. And a card. Heritage Druid gives him a lot of mana. Ooh, I just saw a red card come off the top. 1 mana short. 3 green for Eternal Witness, which untaps the Nettle Sentinel and draws him. What did he get? That's good news. Oh, Summoner's Pact he's going to regrow. Sure. He's just like 1 Nettle Sentinel short, right? There's Nettle Sentinel, and that untaps 2 Nettle Sentinels, draws him a card.
It's right around 17 or 18. I might.
Creature, Grape Shot, and Luis Scott-Vargas is up 2 games to 0!
1 game away from having an undefeated Pro Tour champion.
Wow, that draw is...
All Zatlkaj has left is 3 lands and an Essence Warden. Not looking good at all.
Essence Warden, sure. Canopy. Again. He's in like cycle and try to draw a card mode, right? Llanowar Elf comes down. Looks like Luis, just the 1 land? Yep. Yeah, just the 1 land. So a little bit of a sketchy draw for Luis, but he was able to Thoughtseize on turn 1, which buys him infinite time.
Zatlkaj cycled a Horizon Canopy there off of his Birchflower Ranger.
And goes in for the attack. Trade?
Gets that Essence
Get rid of that
Warden
Essence
out of the
Warden.
way.
That thing's annoying. Into... Wow, Luis can just play out all the 1-drops in his hand if he wants to. I think maybe he's done. I think he's got more. He may be content.
Return this, untap that.
Well, picks up a Llanowar Elf. Plays an Elves of Deep Shadow. Okay, that's more mana.
Untap.
Here comes another Symbiote.
Return this, untap
Building
that.
up a board.
Yeah, I mean he can pick so many things up with the Symbiote. He doesn't really need creatures in his hand.
Watching LSV navigate this elf combo deck is a thing of beauty. He just glides these cards around, knows exactly what he's doing. He's just been piloting this deck for so long.
And probably because he has.
Third Symbiote. She's gonna properly mark as being used.
Return this, untap this.
Picks up the Visionary, untaps Llanowar Elf.
You really get to see what Nettle Sentinel does for you in there.
The deck is really impressive. So, Birchflower comes down. Now here's another Visionary. And is he out of gas finally?
Go.
Plays Gilt Leaf Palace tapped and looks prepared to shift the turn. Now he can do all of that again, Scott-Vargas.
LSV casts a weird harvest, which means that is all she wrote.
What's gonna happen?
1 mana. Untap.
Alright, there's a Nettle Sentinel from Luis.
Untap.
There's another, there's a Heritage Druid. That's now worth 3 mana.
3 mana. Untap.
That's another Nettle Sentinel. No Glimpse. Who needs Glimpse?
Turn this.
Yeah, okay.
Who needs Glimpse when you've got Weird Harvest? There's the handshake. Congratulations, Scott-Vargas wins the Pro Tour.
Thank you for watching. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe because they take a lot of effort. Have a great day.